What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beers and. Today, we're going to be talking about
Beers and Frippery. I love that word.
It's a good word.
Damn good word.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. And to my right, as always, joined by me, by my side, is my buddy Nick.
I like that. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Well, also, welcome back to Beers and After Dark.
Ooh,
Yeah.
It is a little after dark. This is a new one for us.
Oh, yeah. First time.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the fact is that we didn't get a chance to record this past weekend. Feeling very giddy.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling very giddy. It could be the word. It could be the subject. I don't know, but
if I had to guess, I would say Frippery. Why don't you tell everyone what Frippery means?
I will, in fact, tell you what Frippery is. I'll give you the very specific definition, really, starting fresh.
Hot.
So this is from Oxford, and frippery refers to showy or unnecessary ornament in architecture, dress, or language.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
We were talking about, again, topics, and I had said, what if we did something about suits or tuxedos or formal wear? And I was like, I got to see, there's got to be like a word we can use all together. And I found frippery. I was like, that's...
The only thing I hate about it is that we didn't learn it sooner.
Yes, but that's okay because we can definitely make up for it.
Oh, for sure.
Speaking of, by the way, I think the reason it came up is because I was looking at the invite I have to my
your suit up,
cousin's. Yes, for my cousin's wedding. But I also did order my suit for my wedding, for your fine affair as well.
I didn't do that yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait a month and drop some more weight.
Oh, all right.
And then I'm gonna go and get fitted for my suit.
It's so funny when the guy had said to me, he was like, "What size waist?" I was like, "Do I lie and go a little bit bigger so as to not be like embarrassed, or do I go ahead and give what I'm wearing now and just say, if you gotta suck it up, you gotta suck it up?" And I've opted for sucking it up.
I think if I was in your shoes, I would have lowballed myself so that I would have some goal to go for.
If I lowballed myself, I'd have to order a boy's size then at that point. Yeah, because he even looked at me to begin with, and he was like, "What size?" I was like, 28, 29, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
Nick is petite.
I am.
Much more petite than
very petite. I'm slender.
Wiry.
Oh, I don't mind that.
Yeah, the only time I've ever heard wiry, and I promise we're gonna get to the beer right after this.
Usually described for a dog, isn't it?
It's from The Replacements, the Keanu Reeves movie.
Oh,
do you remember the English kicker?
Not unfortunately off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
wow, that's a hot take. You just referred to someone as
he's Welsh.
Someone Welsh as English.
Yeah, that's not right.
They like that. Yeah, they like to be separated. That. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, my geography lack of knowledge is coming into play.
Did I ever tell you this? And then real quick, if anything. So Nick was going ahead and doing his ancestry a while ago, and Nick's father is from Ireland, and he must have found out that a portion of his genealogy came back as being Welsh, and his father was like, No. I'm sorry. That's a mistake. Someone made a mistake there.
Oops.
These things happen.
I didn't realize it was such a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho, let's get into the beer. Sir, I'm really excited to try this. I did not see this anywhere, and it's from Icarus.
It is.
So that's great, local. It's called Coconut and Desist. Right?
Correct.
Is it desist or desist?
I honestly do not know.
I feel like desist is spelled with a C.
Yeah, I think I've been pronouncing it, at least in my mind, as desist.
Maybe you see the little sad face on the
on the
can. Maybe it's because they spelt it wrong and they just rolled it out that way.
Well, it says that it's next to it. There's something on there that says the Bad Boys, and boys is spelled with a Z.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe they called someone in for some can art.
Maybe because it doesn't follow Icarus's traditional
not normally
can art by any means.
And usually they're taller.
Yeah.
So Nick and I both have a beer today.
We do. And if anything, this is a 10% ABV. We just learned in the moment.
Just under.
It's an Imperial Milk Stout that's been aged in bourbon barrels and conditioned on toasted coconut, cacao nibs. Sorry.
Yeah.
Couldn't read my own handwriting for a second. And crushed almonds. It's
yum.
It's referred to as a dessert beer.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever had anything that's been described as a dessert beer either.
No, beer? I don't think so.
No.
Pineapple cream pie seltzer.
That is true.
For sure.
That is very true.
Not a beer.
But not a beer at all.
So if you've been following us on Instagram, we made a comment and I've been saying this for weeks now, is we don't give stouts enough love.
No, I love a good stout too.
I don't.
No?
But I'm trying to learn, or at least find a reputable brewery that I enjoy theirs.
Wasn't I with you? This is going back years, so like bear with me if anything.
Yeah.
I could swear that there was one time when we were over at Brick Wall down here by me.
Oh, years ago.
And I want to say that we had both ordered a Russian Imperial Stout. And it had this really rich flavor of like cacao and like raisins, and it was a really...
Yes. So I will say that I prefer Russian stouts over all the other stouts.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why. I've never actually like delved deep enough to find out why.
I love a good stout.
Or the difference. But you know what? I'm always willing to try it.
All right. I think this will be a good one too. There's something about it that, because it was also an accidental choice.
Right.
I was going for something else.
So Nick was going to pick, what was it called? Peas in a can? Or can of
canned peas.
Canned peas.
Yeah.
And I grabbed this by mistake.
Yeah. And to me,
accidents.
that's a happy accident.
That's right, baby.
There you go. Little Bob Ross for you.
Let's get into some brew news. I forgot that was Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Spent an entire day on a bachelor party watching Bob Ross, by the way.
Really?
Phenomenal. Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow. What kind of things were you guys getting into?
Well, it was the last day, so everyone was really tired.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens when you're 30.
All right.
So, brew news, a couple episodes ago, I talked about Mountain Dew Hard Seltzer.
Oh, yeah.
So they finally released the flavors.
I saw that they were talking about that on SNL this past
they
Saturday
were?
night, and I thought, Colin
beat you
Jost,
to it.
It's been done already.
We say it all the time.
Beer's
Come
End.
to Beer's End for the hot breaking news.
Speaking of, and not to cut you off, and I do want to hear it, when you had said, if you're following us on Instagram, that's if you are. If you aren't, the hell is the matter with you?
Yeah, where should they follow us?
Go ahead and click on over to your Instagram.
Hit that little search
page,
button, the little magnifying glass.
Search for it, and you can find us at Beer's End Podcast.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, do it.
So go do that. Pause the show.
Pause it.
That was us. We paused.
There we go.
You're still here.
I'm sorry. Please, the brew news. I apologize.
So Mountain Dew's coming out with 4 flavors right off the rip. They're doing an original Mountain Dew, not a shocker.
Mm-hmm.
Watermelon, which is kind of a shocker. Black cherry, which I love. And they brought back Baja Blast.
Oh, you see, and I was just going to say, they're going to bring back Code Red.
They probably, I'm surprised they did that over or they did watermelon over Code Red. Because I feel like Code Red Seltzer is such an easy sell.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's a hard Shirley Temple, essentially.
Exactly.
That would go over really well.
Yeah.
Is the original Shirley Temple? No, it's always been non-alcoholic. There's no alcoholic Shirley Temple, I don't think.
I don't know. Which came first?
Probably, I think it's always been the non-alcoholic, because I think it's the equivalent to a Roy Rogers.
I thought a Roy Rogers was grenadine and Coke.
Yeah, and then a Shirley Temple is grenadine and Sprite.
Oh.
Yeah, that's like the lady version, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, that was for little girls, and then Roy Rogers was for little boys.
I only know about Roy Rogers because of Roger the Alien.
Oh. He's one of the 3 cartoon characters I said that I relate to most.
I see that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Thanks.
Okay. So Mountain Dew Hard Seltzer, I'm actually more excited about it now than I was when I first broke the news.
Now that we also tried the pineapple cream pie seltzer,
was that good.
And that opened up my eyes to what seltzers and hard seltzers could be.
For sure.
I'm willing to go ahead and give it a shot.
I don't think Mountain Dew is fruiting the seltzer, though, if I had to guess.
Probably not.
But
Probably not. You know what? Who cares?
Maybe the good people at the Canarchy Collective will sway them.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see if we can get in touch with them.
Yeah.
Take a note.
Right on the list.
Take a letter.
So let's get into the beer.
Yes. And before we actually get into the beer, I have, and I was telling you before, actually, you know what? Let's get into the beer, and then I've got an overthought today.
Oh, you do? That's right.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Are we going to do them? So how are we going to do this? Because usually I'm the one that does an overthought.
That's true. Oh.
That's okay.
Oh, I was a little delayed on.
Share.
That's
all right. I tried.
We were looking at each other like it was going to happen.
It didn't happen.
We probably should have just. Ooh, already I get that.
Oh yeah, I smell
that
too.
Really nice,
super chocolatey,
stouty smell.
Yeah.
Can it smell?
Okay,
stouty?
so before, yeah.
All right.
Sure.
I hope so.
You can make it anything you want because all the words in English are made up anyway.
That is true.
So all right. So before we actually try this, why don't we get into a party foul? I made a mistake. I believe it was last episode.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Scooby-Doo and the reluctant werewolf when Shaggy turns into a werewolf. And I was confused about the plot even afterwards after we, did the show. So I went back and watched it this week.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay, nice.
Because I wanted to. And now I remember, after watching it, that Shaggy turns into a werewolf the weirdest way. He's eating food at a drive-in movie and gets the hiccups. And in the prior scene, Dracula, who turns him into a werewolf, has this like book, and the old werewolf either left or passed away. I don't even know. But Shaggy's picture is in the book. So it has like the next werewolf like laid out for them.
Huh.
And then at the end of the movie, I also made a mistake. I said Shaggy's still a werewolf. We don't know. He's not. He was actually cured. But at the end, the like henchmen of Dracula are like creeping outside of his window, waiting
like
to see what's up. Yeah, like there's going to be a second movie, but there never was.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I feel like that makes much more sense. I feel like if they just left Shaggy as a werewolf, it would have been too many canines or pseudo canines involved all in Scooby-Doo from there on out. Let's give this a shot. The head on this kind of died down rather
I'm going to wear really quick.
quickly,
I mean, it's pitch black.
That is true. Yeah, you're not seeing that is not opaque.
No.
It
is opaque.
It is opaque. That's exact. Come on.
That's right. Sorry, it's late, guys. I love that.
Wow. That's really nice.
It tastes like there's cherries in there.
A little bit, but I'm thinking that is from the crushed almonds. Yeah.
Definitely.
Ooh, that is really nice.
That is super smooth considering it's 9.8%.
Yeah.
Like super smooth.
Huh. I wasn't expecting. Now, I'll put it out there. I'm usually not a fan of coconut very much, especially like toasted coconut, like, those like coconut shavings and whatnot that people put on like cakes, and I don't like that. I don't like
Is it a texture
coconut
thing?
No, I think it generally is the flavor, And my mother always joked, she's like, your grandmother didn't like coconut either. I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay. I guess so. This is really nice, and I think that it's because it's balanced with the almonds really nicely, and that the coconut nibs.
The longer I let it sit in my mouth, like the less I'm getting cherry, and now I'm actually just getting the almond, and it's very good.
So one of the things that I had forgotten to mention, because I got what I had gotten on Untapped. So there's vanilla in here as well.
Yeah.
And it actually says, I'll read the back of the can for us. So it is a dessert-style Imperial Milk Stout brewed with Scottish Golden Promise, debittered black malts, almond, roasted cacao nibs, and extremely heavily oated, conditioned on overwhelming amounts of Madagascar vanilla beans and toasted coconut.
Delicious.
Sometimes that vanilla and coconut, I think, is what's giving it that fruitier flavor.
Could be.
As well. I'm digging it.
I'm super digging this. Like, I regret every bad thing I just said about stouts. Like, actually.
We'll come back for you.
Okay, good. Don't leave me behind.
Ooh, there's a nice little like tingle just after you first.
That might be the ABV.
It might be. Yeah. That's how much I love booze, I guess, is I get that little bit of tingle. Oh, you got it? Just a little bit.
Right on the tongue.
Right on the tongue, just after you have your initial kind of like swallow.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of that tingle.
You know when you get that like really, really like intense feeling in your salivary glands?
Yeah.
Is that what that is, right?
Yeah.
It hurts almost for a second.
That's why it's on the very kind of like back portion of the side of your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Damn, dude, I love this. All right.
Nice.
You got me really interested. Should we, you know what we're going to do? Rock, paper, scissors for who gets to do the overthought first.
Okay, ready?
All right, we're doing says shoot, right?
Of course, there's only one way to do it.
Best 2 or 3 or 1 and done?
We'll do a 1 and done
one
for the people.
All right, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
Damn. Oh, yeah. All right. Vamp real quick. Let me just grab I thought I had my... I know. This is professionalism at its finest.
You know, this is the first stout that I've had from Icarus. And I got to say, they like really didn't disappoint. Sometimes some of the things that Icarus does, they like when we have like Brick City or Magnify, for example, like the flavor's really punchy,
right?
Like Get Pitted, really punchy, like smacked in the face with peach. Icarus doesn't always do that with their non-IPAs, I guess, their sours and their stouts, I assume, but like this one is very bold in its flavors.
I think that's because of the natural state of like a milk stout to begin with. A stout is extraordinarily robust in its flavor to begin with. So if you're going to try and cut through with other flavors, it's gotta be. I mean, even in the descriptions, I mean, it's saying, extremely heavily oated, conditioned on overwhelming amounts of, copious amounts. There's a whole cacophony of flavor.
I love that word.
I know.
I think I heard you say it first.
I don't think I used it properly either.
No, you definitely did the first time you said it to me.
There was something, and I meant to send it to you.
It's very frippery of you.
Thank you. I was going to send it to you. There was one of those memories on like Facebook, and I'm pretty sure that it was from 7 or 8 years ago, and it was definitely an exchange between you and I used such and such word today, and I was so proud of myself, and I thought about you because you would appreciate this word, and nobody else around me seemed to like the fact that I was using this SAT level word.
Literally, you're the only one that appreciates it.
I do.
Christina's like, what does that mean? I used to Google.
I enjoy just the right amount of pretentiousness.
It's true.
I think that's really what it is, because I know that I'm being pretentious when I use the word.
Fair enough.
So,
please tell me.
I've got my overthought. Now,
I'm excited.
It is my first
time.
So, as I had told you, Nick had popped out of town for a little bit. So I had last night to myself. So, I was just bopping around, having a little
bop and scat.
Yeah, just having a little fun on my own. And I was watching, there's one show that I watch, an English show called like QI, and it stands for like quite interesting. And it's just about a bunch of random facts and comedians laugh and whatnot. So This was from their most recent episode, and they were talking about like whirlpools and how there are a couple of different scenarios where underneath like marshes and bogs in southern parts of the U.S., like in Louisiana in particular is what they had mentioned, is that they had been like drilling for oil, I guess, in one of these bogs or whatever. And what they had managed to tap into are what's known as like salt domes. So deep under the earth, like where we obviously extract salt from, it will create these like caverns, but we don't necessarily know that they're there. So what happened was that when they had been drilling, they managed to drill into one of these caverns, and it basically created what they had said, I believe it was a 400-meter wide hole.
Dude.
And it wound up sucking up like 6 barges, all of the drilling equipment, and they had mentioned something about 65 acres of botanical gardens. And it was just completely swallowed. Like nobody died or anything like that, but it completely swallowed everything up, trees and the whole 9 yards. And I had seen something like this recently also, where this salt must have like given way, and you just see these massive trees and everything just gets sucked underwater.
Oh, wow.
So I had thought that if these salt domes have always existed, and as a result, then they can just swallow anything up because it's underwater, who is to say, or is it possible that at one point some great city, such as like an Atlantis, who knows, may have been completely gobbled up and swallowed by, a salt dome or an underwater like cavern.
Wow.
I was just fascinated because of the size that they were taught when they went through, and they were like
meters. That's 4 football fields.
Yes.
Across.
Yep. 400 meters worth of a hole.
And that's the diameter. That doesn't count the
how
area
deep,
around and
how deep it is. But when they had specifically mentioned that 65 acres surrounding was swallowed, I was like, that is mammoth.
Yeah, that is not a small space.
Yeah, so I've been thinking, I was like, what could be swallowed up in those, portions of the Gulf of Mexico or things like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay,
thanks.
I'm definitely going to do some digging on that. So I went
Don't dig too deep.
Entirely.
Hey.
I went in an entirely different direction.
Yeah.
Tipping. Like when we give someone money for their service.
Okay. Yes.
Tipping, not cow tipping.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure where you were going to go for.
Tipping, it sucks. Let's get rid of it as a common practice.
Of course. Okay. Completely agreed.
Fair enough.
Completely agreed.
Should we, for argument's sake, devil's advocate really quick?
Okay.
Why do we tip Nick?
Okay.
Forget about the job. Why would you tip someone?
For doing an exceptionally good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why do restaurant workers have to work for tips?
Well, because the fact is that otherwise, as a former restaurant employee who was paid slightly above whatever the serving minimum wage is, and I was very grateful for it. Otherwise, if you go to like a regular restaurant, again, you're getting paid like, I think it's
Nothing.
like $2.10 an hour or something like
Do you
that.
know why?
To be honest with you, I maybe have heard it in the past, but I don't specifically know why that is.
The food industry, restaurants are allowed to pay their workers less than minimum wage because they're going to make the money in tips. And if they paid them minimum wage, their tips would put them over that bracket for what they should be paid for their job. Oh. So it's really just a way for, and the restaurant will say to anyone who challenges this, it's a way for us to lower food costs. Do you want your food to be more expensive when you come here? No. Well, then we're going to pay our staff like shit.
It's such a weak argument because of how many studies that they've shown and done where they're like, people in XYZ place get paid a regular minimum wage and the price of food does not increase.
Right.
It's also one of those things where it's a matter of like the assumption that, you know, paying that individual is going to outweigh your food costs so much.
Right.
Like you're a shitty business person then if you can't.
Okay, so I don't want to dive too much into this because it is an overthought, but the article that I read, another podcast brought on like an expert in tipping who's done all these, written these books about it and done so much research. And what he said is in his research, he found that like, let's say you go to restaurant X and they don't condone tipping and they pay their staff minimum wage, right?
Mm-hmm.
That restaurant will have slightly more expensive food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go to restaurant Y. They do encourage tipping, pay their staff very low wages, and the food is cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
In a poll, people who have gone to both of these places, even though the bill has come out to roughly the same, they've said that they prefer to go to a place where the food is cheaper, even though it works out to be the same roughly.
Where the food is cheaper and then they have to tip?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like a real like psychological thing then.
It could be. And then it went into a very interesting way. You know, like he's done a study and African-American waiters and waitresses get tipped less.
Oh,
more attractive women get tipped more. And like these are things that we know, but when they're packaged this way, it's very hard to take them as like, oh yeah, we just let this happen.
Oh yeah.
Because we do.
Of course. And again, as someone that had served,
right.
You know, to me there is nothing, and it's happened. It has happened. There is nothing more egregious, I think, than the idea of like stiffing your server, stiffing your bar. Like I find that to be
that's
like
only
how
because it's common practice.
Yeah, like but you're right. But to me, it is one of those things of like how fucking dare you show up to, and you know, and I wasn't working at like a Chili's or anything. No,
it was
not that there's anything wrong with like Chili's.
That was a nice
like,
restaurant.
Oh, I come on, we still go there all the time. But yeah, that whole idea of that's why I'll be honest. You really need to do a terrible job to not earn.
It's true.
At least 20% from me.
Yeah.
At least like. That'd be a fascinating episode.
I think so too. That's why I want to stop talking about it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not done with my beer, but I mean, I love it so far.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it too. You know, and again, I think that we were discussing that this is the first stout I believe we've had since we had done Even More Jesus. Even More Jesus. What are you going to throw on it?
I think this is better than that one.
I do.
like
I
it
do
a
too.
lot
that one
more.
was very, very bitter. From what I remember.
Sorry,
very
sorry, Evil Twin.
It was
No
great.
offense. No offense.
It was very good.
Yeah.
But it was very, very bitter.
This is also all just subjective anyway.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can take our opinions or not, but if you're not going to, why are you here?
If you're not, you can put them up your button around the corner.
There you go.
I'm going to say, man, I don't know. It's so hard for me to rank. Like, I want to rank it high because I like it, but like, I don't have another stout that I loved this much to compare it to. So I'm going to say 4 flat.
Okay. All right. You know what? That's pretty much a little bit lower. I was going to go like a 4.1, 4.2.
Okay.
Because this is one where, as I'm sipping it now, I think it is a good, I can, sitting down and maybe chatting for a little bit.
Dessert.
It's your
dessert.
It is a dessert beer. So like I can sit, and I think that as time goes by, this will continue. I think the flavors would get more rich.
I think so too.
As it warms up a little bit more. I'm getting some more of that like malty flavors in it as it's sitting here warming up a bit. I'm like really enjoying it.
Definitely. It's super roasty. I think I heard you say that the cacao nibs are roasted too.
I don't know if I said
that would make sense because I feel like I taste that.
Oh, they are. They are
right?
roasted. Yep. I think that's also what's going to bring in some of that fruitier flavor that you're picking up on too. The fact that it's roasted.
Yeah.
Because when
like
chocolate,
dark berry flavor.
Yeah, like when chocolate will sometimes all of a sudden, like you say, get that sort of berry-ish flavor. I think that's what we're picking up. Is it cacao? Oh, it's a leaf.
Cacao
not
is
not a
the
bean.
unprocessed
Leaf. Right?
Is it the leaf? I thought it was the seed.
Either way, I want to say that it's actually a berry, technically.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
So
it is in the berry family.
There we go.
Yep.
So it tracks. Nothing
Makes
but the
sense.
facts here.
Hey.
Until next episode when we've got a party foul and we've got a...
We're like,
we're going to make a
up.
quick U-turn, but that's all right.
Frippery.
Frippery.
How about it? Did you know
What do you got?
that there are 177,147 ways to tie a tie?
Oh, my God. And I still don't know any beyond the basic one that doesn't require a YouTube tutorial.
Fair enough. I know 2,
Okay.
including the basic one.
Okay.
I would say that although a lot of these tie combinations are viable, they're not right because it really just takes into account different lengths and wrappings. So even though there's 177,000, like maybe there's only 50 that are wearable.
Do you have a preference of the style?
So like of my tie,
Yeah. And subsequently then I guess of like knot.
I will only tie a double Windsor knot.
Oh, okay.
Double Windsor.
All right.
So I'm twice as good as all you guys who do the half.
Oh, okay. Because I don't even think I do that. I do
half
this,
Windsor?
I don't even do
That's
that.
normal tie.
Oh, I think I go even like less than that. Because
What's less than that? What's less than the original half Windsor?
One that kind of looks like a child may have done it.
Okay.
But like works. Because don't forget, I also wear or prefer skinny ties.
See, and I don't.
Yeah, and that's why.
And I don't like the fat ties either. The fat short
I don't
ones.
like fat ties.
No, those are gross. Those are for people who are never going to unbutton their button.
Exactly, and I'm going to need to. Come on, I've got to unbutton
You might see
my
the
button.
shirt unbuttoned at the end of the night if we're going to a wedding.
Absolutely, you kidding me? Please.
As far as ties go, I'm a sucker for a paisley.
Ooh, love a good paisley.
I love paisley ties.
Love paisley.
Just because, like, it's not a solid block of color. Although solid color ties are very nice too.
It depends on the solid color itself. I've got a couple of them. Actually, I think, interestingly enough, I don't know why, I want to say that I have one of yours for some reason.
You very well might.
It's a white. It's either a solid white or a solid silver.
Oh, that's definitely mine.
Yeah.
Wait, how'd you get that? Okay.
Beats the hell out. Listen, at the end of almost every formal sort of occasion I think that we've all gone to, there's usually some group chat the next morning of, hey, I just got home and I found insert garment name here. It's not mine. Does anybody know who it is?
You're absolutely right.
Whose it is.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I want to say that's how I got yours.
Believe it or not, I didn't actually go into ties more than that. Even though I love getting dressed up, putting on a pair of slacks, throwing on a tie, throwing on a suit jacket. Like, I'd love to do that.
So do I.
I would do that every day for work if I could.
You see, and I think I'm the opposite. I enjoy it as much as I do because I don't have to do it every day. But maybe starting about 2 years ago, because, with my job, I can kind of wear anything realistically. But maybe about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I had said, okay, at least 1 or 2 days a week, you need to formally put on a pair of slacks or wear a blazer or throw on a tie or whatever. So as a result, then, I love getting dressed up. Man. Those are the days I specifically go food shopping.
Oh, when you're dressed up?
Absolutely.
Oh, smart
because
man.
I'm a businessman that's just finished his big, important business
day.
Excuse me,
peasant, can you ring me up, please?
I just like the sound that my shoes make on a good hard floor. That click, clack, click, clack.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming down the hall, baby.
So like I said, I didn't go too much into ties. That was really all I did. I wanted to talk about ascots because I'm trying to bring them back.
You had my
Thank you.
fullest support when you had. Was I with you?
Yeah,
when you
we were at the Gelwood.
We were at the Galwood, and I fully supported the ascot.
Thank you. I'm trying to bring it back, much to the chagrin of my fiance, because she does not like it.
She's got mad. She was like, "Really, you're
She's like,
encouraging
"Don't help
this?
him."
Don't help him at all."
So I didn't know this, but ascots and cravats, even though they're used, the same term is used to describe them, they're not totally the same thing. So ascots usually came from the cravat.
Oh, okay.
So the cravat was, and you've seen it, it's a very, very thinly tied tie, but it almost looks like a scarf. And it's usually with the wingtip collars.
Yeah,
You've seen this, right? So that's where the ascot comes from. It was popular in the back half of the 19th century, named after, I didn't know this, Ascot Heath, which is a racetrack in England. And this is where it was popularized by the spectators of the Royal Ascot, which was an annual 4-day horse race, kicked off in 1711 by Queen Anne.
A 4-day race?
4-day horse race. They didn't run for 4 days.
Oh, okay.
They'd be very tired.
Oh, I wasn't. I honestly thought.
Over the course of 4 days.
Yeah, I was going to say, my goodness.
So, traditionally, ascots were worn for formal events. They're considered a component of morning dress in British culture, which is a custom of dress for festive functions like summer weddings or horse races.
Interesting.
Or they said civic lunches, which I'm not entirely sure what that is. It sounds like a lunch meeting.
I would say, yeah, it's for probably a lunch meeting or even something where
Right.
you've got to, probably be about town, like with other members of the community, perhaps.
Right. Yeah, so ascots. And, if anyone doesn't know, it almost looks like a cross between a tie, a scarf, and a handkerchief.
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Yeah, like if you were to take like a pocket square and blow it up, wrap it around your,
wrap it around
neck
your
a couple
yep.
times, and then
And
kind
give it a
of
little puff.
give it a little puff. I love a good ascot.
Man, they're so cool.
I've never actually worn one though.
You should.
I think I need to.
Let's bring it back together.
I think so. It's gonna happen.
Beers and ascots.
Beers and ascots. So I did a couple different things. I think I'm gonna start with.
I'm all over the place, so feel free to go.
I was gonna say, you know what? Then I am gonna start with. I'm gonna start with rough. RUFF. So rough are the pieces of the garments that were worn around
Shakespeare.
Yes, that were worn around the neck and around the wrists.
I've seen them on the wrist.
And so they were worn throughout much of Europe between the mid 16th to the mid 17th centuries, and oftentimes they're referred to as mill collars. And it's because of the fact is that they used to look like millstones.
Oh.
And they were worn by everybody, men, women, and children. Everybody wore these at any one point in time. So, and they were separate pieces of clothing, which I didn't know. They were separate pieces of clothing because of the fact that, especially if they were around the neck, and how like the collars of shirts, like white shirts in particular, would get dirty.
Yeah.
They were able to take them off and like wash and launder them then separately.
So there's like a piece that went up on your neck and then another piece that went around.
Yeah, and then this piece then like went up and over, if anything, your head then. So it was stiffened by starch. So they didn't, in time. So they actually stayed stiff all the way through.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. They were made from something that was known as, from a linen that was known as cambric. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So cambric was this really thick, dense type of cloth. And that's what it was made of in the very beginning, to go ahead and, again, keep the shape. And then over time, they started to transition and make them of lace. And this is when they would starch them and they became more expensive and intricate.
That's what I picture them in lace.
Exactly.
That's what I've seen them.
So they got really big over time. Much, much larger than one would assume.
Well, Shakespeare wore it.
Exactly. Well, I meant big, quite literally in size.
Oh, like large.
Yes, like they got larger and larger with size.
Sorry, syntax,
Perfectly fine. So at one point, for a neck ruff and arms, so like the two wrist ruffs as well, for two wrist ruffs and a neck ruff, it took some 10 yards of fabric at one point to make a set of them for Elizabeth I
Holy cow.
of England. Yep. A lot of times they were also dyed as well over time. They were dyed, a number of different colors. And roughly about this time is when they started to make this really kind of pale blue color from smalt in the UK. And Elizabeth had actually banned the dyeing of ruffs in this blue color. It was done by royal prerogative, and it stated, this is a quote, it stated, quote, "Her Majesty's pleasure is that no blue starch shall be used or worn by any of Her Majesty's subjects, since blue was the color of the flag of Scotland."
Oh, shit.
So she was completely against that. And again, it lasted for about 100 years. They fell out of fashion by the start, roughly, of the 17th century, kind of faded out all the way. However, they're still considered part of the formal wear of bishops and of ministers for the Church of Denmark and the Church of the Faroe Islands. So you'll still see them wearing these rough colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I had no idea they were called that.
Yeah, I
first
didn't.
off.
I didn't either, because I kept thinking back to, and I didn't look it up because I resisted. But I kept thinking of like the puffy shirt, from
Yeah.
Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, these were called like ruffs. Yeah.
When
so
you
like,
said it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what he's talking about. And I had no idea what it was called.
yeah,
I
I
could just
didn't
picture it.
Didn't know either. It's called a ruff. RUFF, by the way.
That is awesome.
Yeah, like half a ruffle.
Do you know what a cod piece is?
I think so. Yeah.
So-
They accentuate the grind, do they not?
A majority of males during the 14th century wore tights with a gap in the crotch, which I didn't know.
I didn't know they had a gap in them.
So the cod piece started as a triangular piece of fabric attached to the crotch of a male,
Yeah.
to protect them.
I don't know how much just one piece of
Yeah,
cloth is
it's-
necessarily
it's
doing.
not,
Were they
trust me.
starching them up as well, if anything?
From experience, I could tell you that a piece of cloth is not enough.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's why I just don't wear them at all anymore.
Okay.
That's right. That's right, people.
the best-
Welcome to Beers and After Dark.
Oh boy, this will be the last After Dark one I do.
Not the first one or not the last one I'll do, though. No.
Yeah, okay,
Never.
by yourself.
Never.
So after a while, they were made of metal. They evolved to protect knights who went into battle.
Oh, interesting.
So actually, it kind of took on a more of like a actual operative piece of clothing.
I just can't imagine that. I mean, I know it's obviously metal and it wouldn't happen in real life, but I'm thinking about it like a cartoon all of a sudden, like, I'm thinking that like all of a sudden, like, her lady in waiting arrives and she's walking just past a group of knights and you're seeing bing, 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 bing. Highbrow dick jokes here on
let's
Beer's
write this
End.
show. We need to write that show. I can't wait for that.
Metal though, huh?
Yeah, so they were made of metal. You're absolutely right. They emphasize the crotch.
Yeah.
They accentuate the genitals, if you will. They actually reached their peak of size and decoration by 1540, but were very quickly out of style by 1590.
Oh,
And I'm
why
going to
so
tell you
quickly?
why.
Yeah.
Because they became so much of a joke by 1600 that Renaissance humorists quite literally made fun of people who wore them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. They were shamed out of it.
Oh, yeah. And that was it. And cod pieces have never been seen from again.
That's interesting.
Thank the Lord for that.
Yeah, right. Oh, God. Listen, it is. I'm pretty sure that tonight's temperature is supposed to get down to roughly 22 degrees.
Oh,
and
hell
the
no. I ain't putting
idea-
metal on my crotch with 20 degree, negative 20 degree weather. 20 degree.
I'm sorry. I won't even get into my car unless the seats have already been heated up for at least 10 minutes. You want me to wear a piece of metal around to accentuate the genitals?
That's very first world of you.
I know it is. Listen, every once in a while, I gotta remind myself and others that, I don't know. It just makes me sound like a dick.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no
I
way
was
that
gonna
sentence
say,
could
I'm
have
not-
ended. That was
yeah,
good for
I'm
you.
sorry.
I'm glad you stopped.
Well, so am I. So am I.
But please continue.
So this did all start off with a little bit of a conversation again about the idea of about tuxedos.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did you get into tuxedos at all,
I
or
did
anything
not.
like that? So interestingly enough, so tuxedo is actually like an American term. Tuxedo, though, falls under this category of being a black tie. So anything that is formal wear, night wear, dinner wear. So specifically, tuxedo was used to really, at first, only describe the dinner jacket. And up until the 30s, it was always it always referenced a white dinner jacket.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the term, again, is primarily American and began being used right around like 1888, deriving from Tuxedo Park in New York.
I've never been.
You've been very close, and you've probably actually driven through it without maybe necessarily realizing. It's right over the border between New York and New Jersey, and it's actually right around like Harriman State Park, Bear Mountain.
Okay.
It's right up by where I used to go to school.
All
Right up in that area. Right up in that area.
Sure.
And it was actually a really popular enclave of where like elites and socialites had lived in that period. So, in fact, it was the son of one of the community's founders, a guy by the name of Griswold Lorillard, which is a very bougie name in and of itself. So one of his sons and his friends were often reported about in these like social columns. So, you know, kind of like gossipy magazines that we have nowadays. They had full-on columns and sections in newspapers. They had noted that he was wearing a tailless dress coat at a ball in 1886. Exactly, with no tails.
Right.
And that's really like what a tuxedo actually is. It is a tailless coat.
Oh, okay.
So it's, like I said, so it's synonymous with being black tie, and as a result is not as strictly like dictated as compared to white tie. Now, I didn't know this, that there's a difference between white tie and black tie.
I just knew that black tie is very formal, but what's
Not as formal.
Oh, as white tie.
So as white tie. White tie actually has like really, really specific definition as of what it needs to be.
Oh, cool.
So a white tie is actually like a full evening suit and strict in its interpretation. So it is a black coat. It's a black tailcoat. It's a white shirt over a white PK waistcoat and a black bow tie. Mid or high-waisted black trousers, including a trim with 2 silk stripes and highly polished Oxfords.
Yep. That is a tuxedo.
So that was exactly. So it's almost like our interpretation of a very high-class tuxedo is actually what a white tie is considered to be.
I missed you say that was white tie.
Yes, that's white tie.
I am so confused now, but I'm following.
So a black tie...
No, I got you. I'm just confused because we've been lied to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we
Forever.
have. Yes, absolutely. And even then, it's because of the fact, like I said, like tuxedo for the longest time only just meant the coat, like the jacket. And oftentimes, or sometimes I should say, that tuxedos are also worn with these cummerbunds. Have you ever worn a cummerbund?
No, thank God.
Neither have I, but they are, again, pleated broad waist sashes, and they originated in Persia.
They look so stupid.
They do look so stupid.
That's where I'm going for my next fact, by the way.
Persia?
Oh, yeah.
What a transition. And we didn't even plan it. You know what, then? They originated in Persia. Over to you, Alex.
End of story. You know what else
more.
originated in Persia? Man, if you can guess this one.
What else had originated in Persia?
Maybe now predominantly a woman would wear these.
Is it like gloves? Like white gloves?
It's high heels.
Oh, I didn't know that those were Persian originally.
Yeah. Believe it or not, they were made for men.
Well, that I do know.
You do?
Yes.
Do you know this?
I don't know that.
You know this story.
I shouldn't say that I knew originally that they were for men, but I do know that if you see like portraits of like Louis XVI and all of them.
Oh, in heels, really?
Oh, like very
I had no idea.
Oh, even until I believe like George Washington and all of them had like still heeled shoes.
Okay. Maybe my next fact will allude to why.
Please.
Like I said, they were made for men.
Mm-hmm.
Archers, in fact, because the Persian army were excellent horsemen.
Yeah.
I mean, phenomenal. But when they went to stand up in their stirrups in the saddle, to draw back their bow, they didn't have good balance. So what they found was if they put a heel, small heel, I mean, we're not talking stilettos, like maybe a half an inch or an inch.
Yeah.
Small heel at the bottom of these army, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, like footwear.
It would give them a sturdier base in the saddle, and they could actually, where they were more accurate with their bow.
I can picture it, and it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's so cool. And it actually still, like, this principle is still in place today with cowboy boots.
I was going to say, cowboy boots usually have a
block heel.
little bit of like a lift.
And that's
yeah.
why.
No way.
For the stirrups, yeah. So when you're standing in the saddle, you have better balance in case you got to, you're trying to get up and wrangle a calf. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they did. Wrangling calves.
What else are you doing if you're doing this?
You're
wrangling a calf on horseback.
You're going to the Arsenio Hall show, I think, is what it is.
So heels were
That's
made
really
for the
cool.
Persian army horsemen.
I had no idea.
I thought that was the coolest little thing because, like, if you, how can I say this? There aren't many men today that would be caught with a heel. And especially for, like, this to be the first time that it came out. I mean, maybe there was no stigma around it, but, like, it looks weird to me. I would be like, I don't know where that.
So it's kind of interesting because I have a couple of, again, of my dress shoes do have a little bit more of a heel. However, a couple years ago, maybe about 5, 7-ish years ago, for Halloween, I had gone as, just kind of like a 70s stud. Like I picked up a pair of like really high-waisted like bell bottoms and the whole 9 yards. And I picked up a pair of shoes, like original shoes from the 70s. And they have quite the heel on them. Yeah, and they weren't platforms, but they have quite a heel on them. And it's funny you say that because every time I look at them, I'm like, they almost look like, like the shoes that like Nurse Ratched like had worn. Like
I need to watch that.
Or even like from the original, any sort of like old nurse's uniform.
I can picture. Oh yeah, black shoes.
Well, these were actually like brown and suede and whatnot, but it had maybe about an inch and a half.
I can picture that.
Block heel. That's what these shoes have.
Actually, now that I think about it, most of my dress shoes have that block.
Oh yeah, and it depends on how high it is because I don't know if, fellas, if you're not wearing a pair of like dress shoes on a regular basis, listen, and I consider myself, or I'd like to consider myself, as much of a feminist as I possibly can. But let me say it loud and proud. We have got to normalize even more regular fitting shoes and regular flat shoes because there is no way that I think women can be comfortable in 6-inch stilettos or even 4-inch heels.
That's fair.
For an entire workday. Like that's insane.
That's fair.
Whew. I'm with you, ladies.
Yeah, we're with you. I mean, I can't personally say that I find a woman more attractive in heels.
I mean, I know what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it accentuates.
It's supposed to accentuate legs and their butt. Correct. Yeah.
I get it. Stop preying on the guys, okay?
It's just.
I take that back. It's a joke. I take it back.
Oh, so many evil. Oh, God. The look of dread on
my
your
face
is like, oh, shit.
What did I say?
No,
I am very pro-female, by the way. Just going to say that.
We are all good there. But I've worn, again, like some of my like higher heeled dress shoes in the past. And after 5 or 6 hours, I'm like, I gotta take these goddamn things off. Whew. Sheesh. I think that's what the kids say nowadays, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, it is.
I haven't been a kid in quite some time.
That's all over the TikTok.
Oh, the TikTok.
Yeah, we're not there, bud.
So it's a great place to waste your time.
It is.
TikTok.
It is. Let's see. What shall I tell you about?
Oh.
I think I'm going to tell you about...
Can you follow up the male heel?
Yeah, so this is one of the things I think I had maybe mentioned to you when I had first spoken about this. The Zoot suit.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about this.
Are you familiar with the Zoot suit?
No.
Okay.
I haven't even looked at it because after we talked about it, I was like, oh, he's going to surprise me.
Oh, yeah. Oh! Speaking of which.
Oh.
Your birthday was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Wait, did you get me something?
I may have.
Wait, don't make me look bad on camera. I didn't get you anything.
These things are gonna take months to go out to begin with.
Oh,
I
look at you.
I got you a little something.
Should
that
I
you
open
might,
this now?
I think that I think I would like it for you too.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
While I open this, I'm gonna ask you the question of the day.
Oh, we're doing
'Cause we
things
didn't do
totally
that.
out of order then. Sure, why not?
Well, I want to know what your favorite animal is.
Oh my god. My favorite animal.
Yo.
Yeah.
What are these? Hold on. Oh, I'm not showing anyone these.
Oh no? No?
I don't know. I kind of want them to be a surprise.
Okay.
It's great. It's beers and podcast merch. That's all you need to know.
Shh. Actually, they're not for everybody.
They're just for us.
They're just for you.
Oh, they're just for me?
Take one out.
Wait, they're actually just for me? Okay, hold
Yeah,
on.
they're
Now I have
actually
to look.
just for you.
Dude, wait a second. I did not realize that's what it was.
Yeah.
You're a G.
Happy birthday.
If anyone needs some business.
Couple business cards. Real a fish like.
Like, actually, though. Oh, man, I can't wait to just start handing these out to people.
And they got the nice QR code on the back so they can just scan it and go right for it if anything.
I'm gonna hide this behind me for now.
Oh, all right, perfect. Ooh, my favorite animal though.
You want me to tell you mine?
Yeah.
Komodo Dragon.
What is it because of the fact is that they've
For so many reasons.
managed to
They're vicious.
They
first
are.
off. I didn't.
Oh, have you ever seen the way those things like fight to the death each
yeah.
other?
So their teeth are sharp enough to rip through leather, like rip it right out. And they
God.
also have like acid saliva.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Oh yeah. And they just look tough. You know, like a giant salamander with real sharp teeth crawling at you at 20 miles an hour. Like, no thanks.
No, I'll pass on
But
that.
they're my favorite.
I
almost want one as a pet.
I don't know why I'm leaning towards like out of the I'm leaning towards like a penguin, but I don't know why other than for like cute factor.
I was convinced you were going to say a bird.
Yeah, I do like the idea, but I don't want to be a flightless bird. I do quite admire and like I do like horses. I really do. I'm not a horse guy
Can't go wrong.
or a horse
They're
gal.
beautiful.
They're beautiful.
Beautiful.
They're powerful. They're very smart. And at the same time, they serve a purpose. And I think it's also one of those things. They're one of those animals that people are always like, oh, it's a horse. It's like, no, you fucking respect that thing, because if you, like, I've seen those videos, I'm sure you have too, of like people that are fucking stupid and like walk behind a horse and then you get what's coming to you.
What do you think was going to happen?
I saw wild horses for the first time in my life when I was just out in at the Grand Canyon.
Oh, cool.
I'd never seen them.
Yeah, I don't think I have
They're
either.
wild feats. Yeah, I like those though. I do like a good horse.
What's the name of the Clydesdales?
Clydesdale?
Damn, those are massive.
Yeah, they are.
Holy God.
Yeah, they are. I'm more of a Shetland pony, if anything, but
I'd
short
put
like
blinders
that.
on those bitches too.
I would.
Hell yeah.
So the Zoot suit.
Zoot suit. We made it back.
We made it back. Here we are, back all the way again. So the Zoot suits, these were popular during the late 30s and early 40s, particularly with African American, Mexican American, Italian American, Jewish American, and Filipino American communities, men in particular. So these were high-waisted, wide-legged pants that were often like cinched at the bottom.
Yeah. Now I remember.
Yep, long coat, and they had wide shoulders and lapels. So like even if you think like The Mask,
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer, yes, those pants are super Zoot suit-esque. However, during World War II, they were heavily criticized because of the fact that they used so much fabric to be made. And this was a period when folks were like supposed to like be moving into kind of austerity and
Right.
you know,
Conserving and
rationing and whatnot.
Yeah.
So as a result, then men who wore them were often the subjects of like attacks and mob violence. So subsequently, like they were banned from being made during the duration of the war. Life magazine had actually published like a story about them in 1942, and they had posted, they had published a photo of them as well. And along with it, they had like joked around, or they had made a joke, that the suits were served as an argument as to why the Army draft age should be lowered, or should have been lowered to 18. Basically saying that like these guys are un-American, they're anti-patriotic, you know, the whole 9 yards, because they're not doing what everybody else is doing for the war.
Mm-hmm.
So according to Sharon Takeda, she's the head of costumes and textile department at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. According to her, quote, police used to chase young men with sticks topped with razor blades to slash these pants. Oh, yeah. Like, it was a real thing. Compounded, naturally, then, by some of the racist undertones.
Yeah.
It all kind of culminated, then, in what are now known as the Zoot Suit Riots. Have you ever heard this? Zoot Suit Riot.
No.
Okay. So this happened in June of 1943, and primarily focuses on what happened in L.A. So at one point, a group of servicemen in L.A. attacked young Latin and Mexican American men, stripping them of their clothes as they viewed them like being unpatriotic displays during the war, during the wartime. So it started on June 3rd of 1943, when a group of 11 sailors got into a fight with a group of these like young men. Okay. With this whole tussle, sailors claimed that the young men had started the fight in the altercation. Young men had claimed that the sailors were the ones that had started the altercation. We can probably assume maybe more one way than the other, in particular because the next day, 200 sailors had then showed up to East LA, beat all the young men that they could find with clubs, stripping them of their clothes and burning them then in the streets. There were stories, in fact, of like sailors at one point taking 2 young men who were wearing zoot suits in the middle of a movie, bringing them up to the front, stripping them of their suits, and then urinating on their suits in front of everybody. Over the next few days, so we're talking, this essentially went from June 3rd to June 8th. Mm-hmm. This was like a 5-day fucking riot. Over the next few days, thousands of sailors and residents joined in the riots, which had resulted in more than 150 injured and more than 500 Mexican Americans being arrested. They were the ones that were arrested. The police had been ordered not to arrest any of the rioters, like, you know, those actually like engaging in it. And in many cases, there was a lot of situations where it was alleged that the police were actually joining in those rioters and beating these guys up. Fucking crazy. Absolutely insane.
I mean, I feel like we're going right back towards that with this whole unvaxxed, vax, put your mask on, get a vaccine. Like, I feel like we're going right back towards it.
It's just so insane to me that, like, you know, the way, again, that we still kind of pull a lot of this kind of stuff, like, based on the thing that I kept thinking about, honestly, and I know it sounds kind of like crazy, but like, oh, you know, pick your pants up. He's wearing his pants down low. He doesn't care about himself or how he thinks about other people. Like, fuck you.
That
like,
was a thing when we were younger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just what? Who are they bothering? Who are they bothering?
Seriously.
You know, drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
Up the wall.
Damn. All right, let's get into one more little thing.
Yeah.
This is my last thing. I wanted to do one, you know, like Frippery. I wanted to do one more thing, a little Gaudi.
Oh yeah.
So I did Antoni Gaudi, who was a very famous Spanish architect.
Oh,
see what I did there?
Yes.
Gaudi. I'm here.
You're so tricky.
I'm here for it.
You're so tricky.
So have you heard of him?
I've actually been to the cathedral in
that's what we're talking about.
Barcelona.
So a couple of his very famous works, Casa Mila, Casabolo, which was, if I'm remembering the correct one, very, very beautiful. It almost looked like he's got a very strange architecture style.
Yeah.
I think it's Casabolo that almost looks like it's made from fossilized bone.
It's possible, yeah.
But it's not. It's just the way he carved the stone. But it's just, and Christina pointed it out to me, he has a very like cylindrical manner in which he constructs his buildings.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know what time period he's from. Do you have that, just out of curiosity?
He was born in 52 and he died in 1826. 1852.
1852. Okay.
Yeah,
I was
so-
going to say, because I couldn't remember the time period that he was around for.
Fairly recent.
Yeah. And wow. Even knowing that, though, and his style of architecture, which I'm sure what you're going to tell us about, but like, it's so kind of audacious.
Oh, yeah, he was way ahead of
especially
his
for
time.
that time frame.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wow.
So the one I really wanted to talk about, the one you just mentioned, La Sagrada Familia.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you were, right?
Yep.
The construction on this. Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, okay. This is right. Began in 1882.
Oh, wow.
So Gaudi actually took over for his partner, who his name was Francisco de Paula del Villar. Took over for him a year later in 83. And that's when Gaudi took over as the chief architect of the Sagrada.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not finished.
Yep.
They actually anticipated that it would be completed on the centenary of his death, so in 2026. But the pandemic pushed it back.
Oh, my God.
So it's probably not going to. But there have actually been a couple of things over the years that have like kind of deterred this from being completed. So after he took over, he has a very Gothic style, but it's not like Gothic like you would think of traditional. He almost took his own twist on it and kind of portrayed it that way. This church was solely built on private donation. So that's a factor that's taken away from the building time. So they're only accepting private donation.
I don't think I knew that at all.
Yeah, I had no idea. The progress was halted in 36 due to the Spanish Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, like I said, currently due to the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, they thought they were going to finish in a couple of years, but it looks like they might not, even furthermore, like into the 2030s.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to, you know what?
I was going to say,
pull up a
have you, yeah, please do. It is, I'm not often one of those, no, I shouldn't say that. I do find when I travel, especially when I'm in like Europe or something like that, I do love going to visit churches and cathedrals. Like I find them to be absolutely breathtaking.
See, like that's not my thing, but I feel like the Sagrada, I would go see.
It is stunning the way that, and I think that your opinion would change if you were to go and see
Probably.
some of these feats and you're like, wait a second, how was this built 500 years ago, with such rudimentary, it is,
There we go.
Yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful sight.
It quite literally
in the
looks
inside.
like the Disney Princess Castle with an addition.
Yeah, almost. It almost looks like something out of like a cathedral, maybe from like Atlantis or something, maybe in the Middle East.
It looks like.
at one point.
Hold on. Let me find.
The stained glass in there. The way that
I saw the pictures.
Oh my goodness, that was one of the things that I do remember being absolutely stunning. And again, I'm sure that so I guess it's been about 5 years since I was there last, and
oh, here it is.
Yeah.
So this one's the Casabolo.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it was made out of fossilized stone.
It's
like he's got. It's very smooth, but also look, he's got like a giant cylinder, like a spire.
Yeah.
And it was the same on the Sagrada.
You know what? And you're 100% right when you had said that, he was ahead of his time, because I could see this having been built in the Art Deco period in like Miami.
I mean, dude, look at this building.
It's phenomenal.
It looks amazing. And like it seems like just looking at his works, he's very into like the tall spires.
Yeah.
So even on this building and on the Sagrada, I mean, the Sagrada looks just like a castle. Like it really does.
It's phenomenal how much work they still have to do.
Oh, I know. They showed like a place. The one picture I saw, or not the one, but it was a top view.
Yeah.
Of like the base of the rest of the top, and it's at like the peak of the building.
Oh yeah.
Like they have so much left to do.
He's a treasure. He really is a treasure.
Look at this one. This was actually something I didn't talk about, but something I loved visually.
I have a photo of myself there, actually.
Oh, really? In Guel Park?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. What is it called again?
It's called Guel Park.
Yeah. Yes.
So it actually, the mosaics are supposed to reference the ocean, I believe. And you can see it. It's kind of like a rising wave.
It's funny when you say it because now that I'm looking, it is very Disney-esque.
He has a very Disney-esque style.
Yeah, a lot of really kind of smooth curves,
Yep.
a lot of really bright, vibrant colors.
Yeah, not a lot of sharp lines, which we see now.
Which we see now, which I'm not always a very big fan of. I always think there was a quote from the OC. Yeah, I know, whatever.
Can't wait to hear this one.
But they were making reference to a love triangle, and they said like, love triangle. Nobody likes triangles. They're sharp edges. Somebody could get hurt.
The triangle's the strongest structure in nature.
No, I know, but I guess that whole idea of like
triangles.
sharp edges in general, like, they seem very violent. Oh, that's right. There you are.
That's a Zelda piece. I can't really take credit for
Oh,
that.
all right. But no, I think he's a phenomenal architecture.
Quite gaudy.
Architect. It is, but it works.
But we like it.
But I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind of about all I have, realistically.
Oh, that's definitely all I have. That was my last thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think
I finally just finished my beer too. I really nursed this stout.
But it's a good one though, right? You nursed a milk stout. Ah.
Pun not intended.
Nipples. My sources, by the way, were Oxford Dictionary, Wikipedia, He Spoke Style, historymuseum.ca, and again, that article from the Smithsonian Magazine by Karen Zhao.
Oh, nice. Okay, sticking with the theme, I didn't cite my sources.
Good.
But I did look them up.
Okay.
And you can look them up too on the internet if you so choose.
On the internet.
And maybe you'll look us up next time we're here.
Yeah, but in between that, you should probably like, subscribe, comment.
Oh, definitely. Instagram, Twitter, Gmail. What's our Instagram?
Our Instagram is Beers and Podcast.
And what's the Twitter?
Beers and One.
And what's the Gmail?
beersandpodcast@gmail.com.
Send them.
Get us some information. What do you want us to try out? What do you want us to talk about?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Audience and.
Have we never actually asked folks to let us know what to discuss that could be of some interest?
Episode? I don't know.
Well, we're only going to know once folks
someone tells us.
Let us know what to talk about. I got to tell you something. Alex and I are doing a lot of goddamn work on our end.
Seems like for no one.
Putting out some quality content on the regular, twice times a week.
Twice times.
Maybe
soon thrice. I just like that word.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
No, that's too much.
That was not a conversation.
Nick and I have already decided we can't do 3 episodes in a day.
No.
No.
Fun backstory to that, if anything. I was just before the holidays, and Alex and I had decided, we were like, all right, we need to get, our regular 2 episodes done. I was going to be away. The holidays were coming up. So we were like, all right, let's see if we can go ahead and do a 3rd. We recorded the 3rd episode, and the second that I click stop, Alex looks and goes, 3 episodes. We can't do 3 episodes. I was like, no, I don't think so. He was like, at least we tried, and now we know. But these 2 episodes really take a lot out of us.
You know what we always say? Always willing to try something twice.
Preach.
One more time. Then we need suggestions.
Talking
to you.
I'm going to start adding people and just getting real aggressive like.
Yeah, you with the hair and the face.
And the face and the ears that are listening right now.
You know who we're talking to.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But you look great today.
You look great.
Oh, well, thanks. I tried.
Maybe it's just the lighting?
I washed my hair.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's a big thing for you.
It is. Oh, boy.
Maybe next time we won't do it in the dark. And when I mean that, or when I say that, I mean the show.
Oh, true. All right. Well, either one is fine. So make sure you guys go ahead and hit us up on all of our socials. We just went through them, and you'll hear them at the end in a little bit, too.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the recording of Nick. Later.
Bye.